This is Outnumbered. I'm Andrea Tantaros, and here with us today, Harris Faulkner. Melissa Francis is back, host of Money with Melissa Francis on our sister network, Fox Business. Actress and Fox News contributor Stacey Dash. And today's hashtag One Lucky.
Thank you for having me. It's about time.
What took you so long?
I don't know. I'm getting it from all sides this morning.
Because you typically outnumber Anna on the weekends.
That's right. It's meant, yeah, exactly. We've got Rick, we've got Tucker, we've got myself, and then there's one woman. So roles are reversed this morning on this show.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we are happy to have you. And
thank you for having me.
Hit it. All right, the investigation into the Sony hack attack may be getting even bigger. Sources telling Fox News the U.S. First, I want to go to you with the big news today, which is the president coming out to give his last press conference of 2014 on perhaps one of the biggest news days that we've seen in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I've been taking some notes. I know that we have a few correspondents on this right now. You heard from Catherine, and then the president will step up and make reference to whatever it is. The other thing to watch for today, our Adam Housley is reporting on this, is that search for perpetrators. And what his sources are telling him is that there's possibly a situation where you'd have a Sony insider, a compromised insider, and then there.
My first thought is, why was North Korea ever taken off that state sponsor of terror list when we do have sanctioned itself from the entire world? I mean, we've tried to hurt North Korea. I'm just not sure that sanctions are the way to go at this presidential press conference.
I don't know how much more we can do. And I talk to CEOs out in the community right now who are so afraid of being hacked and are so worried about this, especially in our financial districts.
You know, Clayton, a lot of people don't know you are one of our tech experts here at Fox News. Quickly, before we move on, President Obama is going to step up to the podium. I would love to hear him show strength and show that we are not going to put up with this. And I don't think a boring list of saying
that protecting private
well, they're so easy
businesses
for companies
from these kinds.
Quote, I'm going to come to you first, Melissa, on this. Is he right?
Huge opportunity right now to turn this PR disaster for themselves around. And I think they could even wipe away everything that's happened so far if they stood up.
Same thing in a tweet.
A big gesture.
But what else exists out there? That's the fear right now, I think, for Sony, which is, you know, the attackers released a statement.
Hollywood is, where is the Democratic Party that they have support?
Something that Sony would be trying to hide that might be criminal. We don't know, because we don't know what's in those emails.
I don't know how
salacious. I mean, when I think about salacious comments, I think really bully, because remember after 9/11, we circled the wagons around the First Amendment. We circled the wagons around a big way, and we let other nations know we're not going to stand for this. If we say anything else today, we are giving them a green light to strike us whenever they want.
We need to have a viewing night in this country. I mean, they should release it.
That's what we need.
Or at least the Secret Service.
He's been so busy fiddling with the legislative and the judicial branch. He's not.
Remember, there's another fence we're focused on, and that's on our southern border.
The first thing on the list of the report was money.
Right. It's exactly where I was going there.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, look, I know we're giggling about this. I don't really think it's very funny.
No, it's pretty serious.
When someone breaks into the White House, especially when we're talking about enemies hacking into our country. We look ridiculous right now that we don't have our act together, right? We have people storming the White House. If I were President Obama, I'd be very, very upset. I don't agree with him on most of his policies. That's not a shock, but I don't want anything to happen to anybody at the White House. And Melissa, I really don't need to know that they did this review, and they don't need to publish the findings of it to advertise again.
I think that it makes us look vulnerable. And it makes it look like that's another place where somebody could poke us. And that's particularly troubling because we're not talking about one or two incidents. And I know you listed a few, but there are pages of these incidents over the last few years. And the fact that they felt like they needed this group to come out with recommendations, I agree, to make those recommendations, even if it is just about a fence that's for.
And we talk about the fence. You know, I've reported from all around the world. I remember when you go to Saudi Arabia, any building that you enter, I mean, it could be a hotel. They have very high fences that you can't see through that are totally over this.
That's the point. If you don't think you're going to get fired, why would anybody currently in Secret Service step up to rectify the mistakes? I mean, and think about all the mistakes. So there was the prostitution scandal. Then remember when the president went to Nelson Mandela's funeral and the sign language interpreter was also a criminal, and he was doing all this funky sign language about cigarettes. And everyone giggled and thought it was funny. I did not think it was funny to have somebody so vulnerable put next to the president of the United States.
So outside leader, new leader from the
Joanne Chesmar's name up yesterday. She should be and have her serve her time along with the other criminals that are being held in have been part of the original deal.
Because they're this administration are the worst negotiators in the world. I mean, I want to sell them a car and a piece of real estate right now.
Well, that's and that's really what's at the heart of this, right? Which is these I look at these situations and I think, well, what does the United States get out of this transaction?
Nothing.
Oil. They were able to ship this oil back, and now that Venezuela is crumbling, they're turning to the United States for economic help, and this is a way of getting economic assistance.
And what do you say to the family?
A liberal line this morning saying, look, can you name one thing that's wrong with this entire deal? There's not one downside for the United States. Few of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of folks say that we're breathing new life into, the Castro brothers and a regime that is large. Interesting when you lay out an economic incentives
to work.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Instead of giving you incentives to get a good education.
Yeah. And what does this do culturally? So last night on The Factor, Bill O'Reilly and I got in a bit of a disagreement because he argued. It's okay, though. It's okay. All's forgiven. But point of the life of Julia, if women are single, then they are reliant on the government and not a husband, and then the government can control. That is the goal.
I agree with your take.
Like
and
There's no leader that can put that genie back in the bottle. I just don't think so, unfortunately. Brad Pitt was said to be eager to serve and thought that it would be interesting, but apparently, Melissa, he is just too darn hot.
Way too hot to be on a jury. I could see it be distracting. Who would you guys not be able to serve on a jury with? Who would I mean, it would be way too distracting. What do you think? Who would it be?
I was supposed to say my husband, but I'm going to say...
I don't know if he's watching right now, so it's okay.
I'm going to say Michael Strahan or Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, interesting.
For me, it would be Ian Somerhalder. Guy is smoking hot. You ever watch him on the...
Stacey, what do you think?
Mine are different. Mine are for different reasons. Robert De Niro and Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. So you have like a whole great-grandfather thing going on there or something.
Wow, that's...
I would laugh. I think it would be Jimmy Fallon. I mean, that would be...
Because he would be passing notes during while you're listening to the trial.
Really? I just want someone to entertain me. Like, I like jokes. For me, it would be a funny guy.
I tried to pull this off.
I know an actress.
Careful.
I know an actress.
Real? Yes, exactly.
3 days, and it was one of the more fascinating things I can remember. And I wish he had the opportunity to do that.
Every time I get called for jury duty, I just sit in the hall for 2 days at a time. I mean, it's here in New York. You never get to do anything. You just loiter around. It's torture.
I'll loan
it's my duty, so I'm happy to do it.
I'll loan you my Bush Cheney t-shirt, Melissa. They'll never pick you, trust me. With my NRA hat. Okay, we're back here Monday at noon Eastern. Happening Now is going to start very soon, and no Outnumbered overtime. And make sure to tune into Fox News for all the coverage of the presidential press conference, the last one from the White House in 2014. Happening Now, take it away.